What's going on, guys? This is Kaishro. Welcome back. So we are back with another video. So for our video today, finally we have our new ban list for OCG limit regulation for July 2025. And this will be the upcoming ban list for the next format this coming July, and also will shape the whole shenanigans of World Championship qualifiers and also the World Championship series this coming August. No? So this will be very important for us to see how the metagame will evolve or devolve to some degree. We will see on our shortlist here. So before we venture on our video, I'm just going to uh, credit Neo Arcadia and his site Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization for providing quick and informative OCG content for us. So without further ado, let's start. So on this article, we are going to see the official card game July 1st limit regulation of 2025. So the theme of our article here would be winter for lockdowns, springtime for combo pieces. So now winter have passed, no? And we have uh, ventured towards springtime. And as we can see here, we're going to see a bunch of combo pieces being enabled to us from the ban list. And also, we are going to see some deviations from the previous ban list and the trajectory of the OCG on how it wants to mold the modern Yu-Gi-Oh! In this coming mid 2025. So moving on towards the forbidden section, we have Apollousa above the goddess. So I have been telegraphing these hit towards Apollousa since the very beginning of 2025 because TCG have done the same already, and I cannot blame the Konami OCG for doing so because Apollousa is just very generic now. It was able to negate anything on the surface and also easily accessible with IP Mascarena or other decks that can turbo out Apollousa with swarming tendencies from the monsters. And also I think the Appaloosa is very much overstayed for quite some time already. I think since 2021, Appaloosa has been at ref now since the Tri Brigade format. And it's quite surprising that Appaloosa have lasted this long. And I think this is the right trajectory to continue for the modern game so that we cannot really shelves ourselves on making generic negates and just sit from that now and hopefully win the game from that point. So I think this is very healthy and it will help us to be more interactive. And next, without Paradise Smasher, I think this is the best band-aid solution that they can make for the rising of the K9 decks where Paradise Smasher is just FTK to some point, no? It's just another form of VFD or the very fun dragon. And I don't know what is the thought process of Konami because this is the only one that answers the best deck right now, the VSK9. And I'm pretty much disappointed on how the ban list have shaped, and we're going to see the reasons why later on. But yeah, these are the only two parts on our forbidden section. Kinda underwhelming, no, to some degree, but yeah, I guess they are not going to make drastic changes because of the upcoming World Championship. And also, the new archetypes, the new best decks are kind of fairly new, no? It's just 3 6 months only. We still have the Justice Hunters format very fresh from us now, the Dracotail VS and VS K9 and K9 itself, and also the Yami. So moving on towards the limited section, do have three cards here. First would be anti-spell fragrance, unlimited to limited. So bold move from Konami because I think a lot of people can have mixed opinions on this. A lot of players would want to have control pieces on their board, no, being able to protect their board and stop the opponents from breaking it. But the vast majority of the competitive players would this disregard this stance because I think a lot of competitive players does not want floodgates to be omnipresent on the modern game, and I really think so in that sense as well. I think fragrance is a very powerful card going first, and it was able to single out games faster and win the game from that. Now I think if your hands are consistent of spell cards, I think you don't have any outs towards fragrance, and I do hope that this is the trajectory that we're going to continue for the following banlists or the following formats, because we would want to see a much more interactive, a much more higher tempo, and also a game where it does not have any more locks or floodgating effects, because it ruins the interactiveness in this modern format. And next to the Wandering Gryphon Rider, this is very gray area for me. I think this is also a monumental step from Konami, being able to revive the adventure package, because 2021, it was really terrorizing everyone. Back in the day where Phantom Knight's Adventure, Destiny Hero, and Frankie's Adventure, Young Zing Adventure, all of those decks are terrorizing the metagame, and it was really horrendous. No, they're just sitting on the pillars with Griffon right there, and also their innate engine interruption from the Butler, no, and from the Prankids, and also the Phantom Knights Blade. So I think there's a bunch of cool decks that you can operate using the adventure, with the rider being present once again into one. And I don't think that it will be really game breaking, because we have come into a point where Finsmith is just much more broken, no, much more faster. But the adventure really offers a really good and tremendous ceiling for other decks like Prank Kids, no, and like-minded decks like Phantom Knights. And moving on next, we do have Nightmare Goblin Forbidden 2 Limited. I think this is really bonkers. I don't think what is really going on Konami's mind on making this viable once again. And Goblin opens a lot of passages for combo extensions, like the springtime for combo pieces. No, it was able to make combos much more fluid, much more faster, and can really unlock a lot of plays that we can never think of, because we don't really expect Goblin to be present once again, no? Maybe some people really try to conceptualize where nightmare cards are going to be back again, but it's still very, very uh, gray on some areas, because it is very horrendous on the previous formats where it was just combo piles after combo piles, no? And there's a bunch of FTK and also one turn kill that is floating around on the metagame. So it was able to make the formats much more faster, being able to branch out more combo variations, and also having more access towards the nightmare cards, no, on the following formats. And I think Goblin will shake up definitely the format on some decks, especially decks like DDD and other stuff like the Solfacord, no, and other combo decks that can utilize this card effectively. Moving on towards the semi-limited Sprite Jet, we do have limited to semi-limited. I think this is very worthy. If they don't unban the Sprite Elf, this is the way to go. And you wanna make Sprite once again live, and I think Sprite deserves the Jet back into two. Even though Sprite used to be a very powerful deck, matter of fact, a lot of people have predicted that Sprite would be tier 0 now, and they're pretty much correct for 2 weeks before DT Elements breakout came. No, but yeah, I think Sprite is really really fine in this current stage of our metagame format. And next we do have Mass Change 2, limited to semi-limited. We already know where this is coming from. This is likely to be boosting the heroes upcoming supports from the tactical try set, and also heroes is eternal archetype, and it is really evident that every year we are getting supports after supports for hero. So this is likely to be a way to patronize the heroes much more further, and also make heroes much more powerful this coming tactical try format. And moving on next towards the unlimited, we do have a plenty number of cards here, but kinda not that relevant. So yeah, moving on first the Cyberjar semi-limited to unlimited. So this will not matter, like I've said on my Malice prediction. I don't think that it will ever impact the modern game in some way, because Cyberjar is very old, probably even older than my age, and I think there's reason why Cyberjar is unlimited right now, because it does not impact the modern decks any at all. And also, it takes 1 billion IQ to scrutinize the Cyberjar and make some really nasty combos or FTKs from that now. So I think is really okay to be at free right now. Kasi daw Zodiac Trident, so Unlimited Trident is my call as well on my Banlist prediction. I think Trident into 3 is okay because it does not do anything on Master Duel, and it is the sign that we are getting more Zodiac and Zodiac supports from the uplifting of their ban cards in this upcoming format, this coming late 2025, no? Maybe Broad Bull would be next, no? Into R1 and Route Pier and so on and so forth. So I think Trident is really okay here. Might really give some ample boost towards the Zodiac. Next to the Speedroid Terror Top, I think this is also a very good unlimited leaf because it was able to support Synchro decks, Psychic decks, and also will eventually support the upcoming Yusei Fudo structure deck. And I think this is very exciting to see cool combo pieces being brought back into the game. But I think it is very much thought driven with the implications of these upliftings, because Konami have probably tested out how these combo pieces can come back into the game and make it healthy as possible. So I think they know what they are doing to my own perspective, and I think it will not really break the format. And next, we do have Rescue Ace Airlifter. Kinda disheartening to see Airlifter only going back into 3. I think Airlifter should be back at 3 because it will support the tactical try Rescue Ace that was released last week, and potentially we are going to have new supports for Rescue Ace as well. No? So this is a much needed boost. But the disheartening fact was the emergency was the left from the ban list, and I think if you wanna push the Rescue Ace, I think you should make emergency back into 2 or 3, you know. I think this is very pivotal for SK's being able to dodge imperms, veilers, and other hand traps. And it was able to play around going second, much more fluid. But now Airlifter into 3 is a very good way to make Rescue Ace back again into the metagame. And next we do have Nightmare Throne, semi to unlimited. I think this is not only to boost Yubel, it is also a very good way to make DDD much more consistent, because DDD can utilize the Nightmare Throne effectively being Fiend monsters. And I think this is also a very good way to make DDD much more marketable, because this is the front of the new set, no, of the DOOD. And I think it will help people to be invested on DDD as the cover art for the main set. And Nightmare Throne into 3 is really fine. I think you will not be a really threatening deck, especially if Smith is buttered by the Banlist. And of course, much more faster decks are always present in this metagame with PSK9 and also Yami and Dracotail, which is untouched by this Banlist. No, it was not really addressed to a certain point. We could argue that Paradise is a way to limit the power of BSK9 and K9 decks, no? But Dracotail still has Fimena into R3, Yami still has Snatchy into 3, and the Schooled into 3 as well. So no consistency hits on those decks, and Malice and Ryzel are still very live in this metagame. No, Malice did not have any repercussions from this. Only Appaloosa was the only notable hit from them, no? And I think Malice can comfortably play without Appaloosa, as we can see on TCG, no? They don't care about Appaloosa any at all, because there are a bunch of cards that they can utilize to complete their board setup going first. Next to the Fusion Destiny into 3, I think Destiny, of course, is very good on the 2021, but things have changed right now. There are better engines to play, like the K9, for example, now. But it's interesting whether heroes can capitalize on this Unlimited. Next, the last card would be Big Welcome Labyrinth into Unlimited. I think Labyrinth also deserves some love, especially they have gotten aesthetics assets, no, for the past three, yeah, 3 to 6 months. They have been getting playmats, sleeves, and price uh, figures, no, from the satellite shops and also the tournament pricing. And I think Labyrinth is a very good archetype because it was able to support trap oriented gameplay and was able to utilize the powerful trap cards that they can mix and match onto their deck and main deck and side deck likewise, no. So I think Labyrinth should be back into tier D, tier 4 rather, into making big welcome into 3 once again because they're not much more consistent right now. And we might see some intricate plays that might be considered for the labyrinth to make it like pseudo engine, no, for example, back in the day for trap tricks and other trap based decks. And probably Big Welcome is just a way to beef up the interruptions of Labyrinth on their graveyard as well, no. So I think this is very healthy for Labyrinth. So all in all, this ban list really did disappoint me. I don't think that this is a very impactful ban list to make changes for the metagame, and it was really surprising that they haven't answered the best decks right now. Uh, the top five rather, no, we do have Malice Rizil and the likes of Yami, Dracotail, and K9 decks. And I think even though I'm frustrated from that fact, I think is also logical because World Championship is coming up and the DBGH decks are still not supported from the new sets, no. They have gotten one indirect supports only from DOOD, and it's not enough to market the whole Justice Hunters, especially Justice Hunters is still not out on TCG. So probably they are going to make repercussions and also adjustments to make Dracotail, K9, and Yami much more stronger on the following sets, and it was probably going to make the deck tier 1 or even tier 0, no. We never know because the potential is unlimited for those kind of decks because it is already strong from their base set, and it is pretty unheard of because most of the time the first set of deck build decks are still not that strong, no. But now we have three out of the box meta decks from the Justice Hunter. So yeah, very exciting, but very discerning moments for us in the OCG right now because the ban is not that impactful. But we will see how the format will shape with these cards. Especially there are notable unlimits with the Adventure and Destiny Hero as well now. And of course the Nightmare Goblin. And yeah, that sums up our OCG July ban list reaction video and analysis. No, so if you found this video informative or helpful, please do consider subscribing. It definitely motivates me a lot to keep providing this content for you guys. So once again, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.